2, 3. All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, get married, have a ring, put your rings on. If you want to get married, I know.
Oh, is this necessary? Now, come on! Oh, is that necessary? Is that, please let me go back and get my purse.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. I'm a big-time fan of old literature. You ever read Frankenstein? It's a classic. It has to do with a crazy-ass doctor who knit together a bunch of diseased, dead body parts and then used lightning to reanimate a corpse. Now, you might think that that's the story of Joe Biden in the White House, and while there are similarities, what I'm talking about here is the story of Frankenstein's monster turning on its creator. You see, the leftist Democrats have been creating their own sort of political Frankenstein monster by cobbling together intersectionality. The intersectionality pyramid is something that takes disparate groups of people that have nothing in common with each other and don't actually like each other and kind of shove them together for political power. This is called the coalition of the dispossessed. And the Democrats have been trying to win on this very unstable coalition. And now the bill is coming due. While they've been able to manufacture crises and hysterically manipulate these very low IQ people from these very disparate little groups and subsections of American society, the end is nigh. Look no further than Nancy Pelosi being unable to walk from her vehicle during an NFL game. Oh, yeah, baby. So this weekend, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats, of course, will claim any allegiance they possibly can. These people are nationless and soulless, godless, and this is proven by Nancy Pelosi going to the Baltimore Ravens game and then also the San Francisco 49ers game, both of which she got booed at and one of which she had a psychotic racist meltdown. It had to be saved by her Secret Service. It's so good. Let's go. Nancy Pelosi gets booed as she shows up to the Chiefs-Ravens game in Baltimore. Pelosi arrived at the game Sunday with her husband, Paul. Looks like it's hammer time at the stadium, but no. In fact, she was booed loudly. Nancy Pelosi booed by fans as she arrives at the Chiefs-Ravens game in Baltimore. Nancy Pelosi's from Baltimore. She comes from a political family. How old is Nancy Pelosi? There's tons of photos of her as a little girl with JFK. That's how old she is. Security guard helped people at bay, but the boos were heard as the pair walked past smiling despite the couple being big Ravens fans. Oh, really? Why exactly would they be listed as big Ravens fans? I mean, they don't live in Baltimore. Nancy Pelosi hasn't lived in Baltimore for a very, very long time. They live in a vineyard in Napa Valley, actually, way far outside of Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco. Now, the Ravens went on to lose that game, very sadly, in fact, for me, and the psyop with Taylor Swift and her fake boyfriend continues. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's one happy story. The next happy story is that Nancy Pelosi was also caught outside of her home the next day rooting for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, she went back and cheered for the San Francisco 49ers, and, well, that's probably more appropriate because it's where she lived. But because they were outside of her house, these protesters were outside of her house, and these protesters were from the left. Baltimore, Democratic-run city, run directly into the ground. Have you ever been to Baltimore? It honestly looks like some of the photos of European towns after massive carpet bombing from the Allied forces during World War II. I mean, it is like a dismal shell of itself. It's very sad, Baltimore. San Francisco, not much better. Looks like a zombie apocalypse. Nancy Pelosi lives right in the heart of it, and the Democrats there decided to show up and scream at her. Check this out.
Most of your constituents walk beside you. Stop the genocide. Stop the Holocaust.
The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats want the ceasefire.
Go back to China where you came from. Wow, that's amazing. Isn't this the same Nancy Pelosi that said that Donald Trump saying China virus is racist, even though Donald Trump is right, and presumably those protesters weren't from China. I don't really know. I'm not sure what the protesters, where they're from or what they look like, but Nancy Pelosi decided to hurl racial and racist epithets at them, no matter who they were or where they were from. And here's something we absolutely know, that they were from Nancy Pelosi's party. These are far left-wing protesters that are protesting Nancy Pelosi. We didn't talk enough about this, just like we don't talk enough about Nancy Pelosi being like 9 martinis in at 10 a.m. in the morning on her way to an NFL game. Nancy Pelosi having, of course, no particular allegiance, going to the Ravens game, going to the 49ers game. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi has no allegiance from her own party. This is often what it looks like in San Francisco, the bluest of all blue places, when Nancy Pelosi gives a speech.
Well, if you do not want to listen, if you do not...
Where were you? When we asked?
They've never asked.
Now you tell us. The audacity. You have been fighting deportation.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Listen to her.
Yes, I am. You do
Watch her. She's having an actual seizure. Like, she's having like an actual medical episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like when Frankenstein's monster turns on the creator. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrat Party is the creator of the hysterics and the psychosis that allows these people to behave like brain-dead orcs wandering through American society and demanding by screaming,
We are immigrant youth.
there you go, okay. enjoy the product of Frankenstein turning on its creator. And that is exactly what Democrats have wrought. This is what they have created for themselves. Look at these people like crashing this Pelosi speech. There's hundreds of them. What do you expect? And this happens everywhere. It's worth noting that this happens to everywhere and everyone. Nancy Pelosi regularly and often is trolled inside of San Francisco. Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco is about that big, and it's completely and totally like a little blue bubble. Like, there's not even a single Republican vote inside this district. Yet, this is how people treat Nancy Pelosi in that district.
Let me just get you to
Nancy, can you tell us why we have all the $150 billion going to Ukraine? We have homeless on the streets in your own city. Nancy, can I get some stock trading tips on how to get semiconductors in Taiwan? Nancy, is your son involved with Hunter Biden?
Oh, baby. Yeah. Okay. All right. In case you think we're just being mean to Nancy. Oh, no, baby. Jill Biden in dark blue Connecticut can't even get out of her car. Your husband's the worst president we've ever had. You owe us gas money. Oh, yeah. Joe doesn't get any escape.
Is Donald Trump.
Here's a speech from last week. Joe Biden in dark
women
blue
are being
Virginia.
forced to travel out of state.
Listen to him scream. It goes on forever and ever.
This is going to go on for a while. They got this planned. Look.
This is Joe Biden speaking inside of a church.
You care about the lives lost here, and you should honor the lives lost and call for a ceasefire in Palestine.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
These are Joe Biden's own events.
Oh, something you don't know. My state of Delaware, a little state, because we had a small population, had the highest percentage of UAW workers in the United States of America. We're the largest GM plant. We're the largest Chrysler plant outside of Detroit. And we had a lot of shipping as well. But here's the deal. I got raised on automobiles. My dad ran an automobile. He didn't own it. He ran an automobile agency for a long time.
Like 10 seconds into the speech. And in case you think that this is limited to Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, of course it's not. This is Kamala Harris at her house during Christmas, and her house, the vice president's house during Christmas.
We work with you. work together. And just in this holiday season, which should be a joyful time of year,
Madam Vice
we just
President,
wanted to
I'm
have
the
the
big member of
opportunity
Delaware.
to
Did you
give
know
all
that in Bethlehem they're not
aware
celebrating
of knowing
Christmas?
how much
Did you know that in Bethlehem, baby Jesus is under rubble? Why did you vote for ceasefire?
they all believe in democracy and the right of everyone to have their voice
Why
be
did you
heard.
vote for
And so
ceasefire?
I appreciate the views wanting to be heard, but right now I'm speaking.
Oh yeah. Right now I'm speaking. Right now I'm speaking. I'm speaking right now. The hilarity of a regime in collapse, and it totally is in collapse. They are resorting actually to schoolyard tactics of Nancy Pelosi saying, "Go back to China." And what I assume were Asian protesters. I mean, I guess if Nancy Pelosi is gonna hurl those kind of insults at them, I think generally, but depending on the number of martinis that have been had, but it just never ends. They lie to you. They tell you that this is the most popular administration in American history. That's probably the biggest psyop in our country, this side of course, Taylor Swift and her fake relationship. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is so delightful to watch. My cup is filled up with the salty, salty tears of Hillary Clinton being screamed out of her class at Columbia University. Hillary Clinton being screamed at in the streets of New York City, being screamed at abroad in the UK, Queen's University ceremony. As Hillary Clinton gets walked in by a little child. It's called a war criminal. It's so good. You do love to see it. You do indeed love to see it. But what I love to see more is the fact that Americans are standing up to the elites, to the powerful, and that we are, in fact, in charge of this nation, and we are reasserting that. And it is that is action. Some of these protesters I probably don't agree with. A lot of them are of the left, but it's actually good to make powerful people get checked and feel uncomfortable. That's a valuable thing to do, and that's central to our democracy. So scream on, psychotic libs, at your leaders, and then maybe consider putting on a red MAGA hat and voting differently if you want a different result. Little piece of advice there for you, boy. Like, share, subscribe. Stay based. See ya.